And when I went back to the Philippines for vacation, I really wanted to check out the malls. I want to experience the life before. Because this is really province. It's a province life. It's way provincer. If that even isn't a word, it's way more provincial.
Hey Zesties! Welcome to the Gleeful Talkshow, where we share zesty stories to cultivate the happiness and hero within. Thank you Zesties for supporting the show so far, and shout out to our listeners in Victoria and Queensland. I hope you guys are keeping safe and staying home during lockdown. And of course, our Filipino listeners, keep safe over there, and I bet you'll enjoy this episode. Before we dive in, this episode is recorded via riverside.fm. It locally records your audio and video and uploads it progressively to the cloud. So even if you have a slow internet connection, you're almost guaranteed to have less interruptions. If you don't want to miss out any of their features, just click on the affiliate link on the episode notes and get a 25% discount on your first 3 months of subscription when you use the coupon code MediaBoard25 upon checkout. If you haven't already, please subscribe and rate the show on your favorite podcasting platform. You can also follow me on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, or visit www.gleefultalkshow.com. If you'd like to support the show, you can buy me a cup of coffee or two. Just head down to the episode notes to find out how. In this episode, we are going to talk about personal immigration stories. I am joined by a fellow podcaster and immigrant currently based in Canada. She is the creator of Tita Talks, a podcast deep diving into Korean dramas and Filipino teleseries for both beginners and hardcore fans. So for our non-Filipino listeners, the word tita translates to aunt, which is not necessarily your relative by blood, but a term that connotes a lady in her mature years. I'm not quite sure if I have explained that right, but we'll ask our guest later.
I think so.
Okay. So please welcome Marian Ereno of Tita Talks. Hi, Marian. Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So did I explain the word tita right?
I think so. I think it is. It is more of the matured person, something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like sometimes like a joke, right? In the Philippines, like
yeah.
if you have like tita moments, or
Yes.
just sipping wine, or quite old
it definitely
or something.
it definitely relates to you being mature. Yeah, but it's definitely something that it's not really exclusive to being blood related.
Yes.
You're right.
So you run Tita Talks, but I think in your podcast you haven't really talked much about yourself, only opas.
Oh, yeah.
I was just going to ask you a bit of background on yourself.
Well, what do I say? I don't know. I don't really talk too much about myself. As you have mentioned, my podcast is called Tita Talks, but I don't really talk about myself. Well, not anymore. Before, that was the format of the podcast. I used to talk about a lot of things, different things, sometimes the most trending topics and all that. But I'm shifted or moved or changed
Transition
it
to
more specific topic, which is the K-drama. So I don't really know what to say about myself, but I currently am in Canada. I have been here for 6 years now. I would say this September, 6 years. I'm sorry.
So yeah, you're from Bicol and then you immigrated to Canada. So why did you immigrate, if I may ask?
Well, actually, it's the same as anyone who migrated to a different country. It's usually because of its money, better job opportunities. And for me, I guess the additional thing about migrating is that I am here with my brothers. Because before, I was living alone in Manila. So my family are in Bicol and in Canada. So I'm the only one living in Manila. So for 5 years, I was all alone in Manila. So that's when also I finally decided to move with the other side of my family, which is here in Canada. That's additional to the usual things, which is, of course, money, greater opportunities.
So, but let's say if your family weren't in Canada right now, would you have preferred staying back in the Philippines, or you would still prefer going abroad?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say that I would probably have stayed in the Philippines. If I had no one here in Canada, I would have stayed in the Philippines because that's where my family is right now. So I actually never had on my own decision to move to a different country. Traveling, I would say, but living in a different country, other than for money or for career's sake, I never actually thought about it. So I would say, yeah, I would say that I would have stayed in the Philippines if
Really?
the opportunities were there, right? If the opportunities were there.
Yeah.
But I actually had a stable job. It's just that the expenses were higher than whatever I am earning.
I can relate.
We have all been through this. We had stable jobs, but the expenses were like, it's definitely twice as much as we can earn.
Exactly. And it's even now, like coming back or like going to vacation in the Philippines, like, from an immigrant's point of view, or someone who is earning abroad, when you go back, like, why is this so expensive? Like, I can't even afford this even with my salary now, you know?
That's true. When I went home last 2019, I didn't bring much clothes because I was saving for the expenses for the additional travel check-in luggages. So I did not bring enough clothes, and I thought I could just buy from the Philippines, thinking that it could be cheaper. But it's not. It wasn't. I ended up wearing my sister's clothes.
Yeah, it's quite expensive there. Like even the local brands, right? Like our local brands like Pen Shop, Bench, you know, like they are expensive because they have, I think the artists as well are now international.
Yes, the endorsers are mostly Koreans, actually.
Yeah.
For both
The latest one right now, right?
For which brand?
Bench.
I don't know. Who is the latest one for Twice?
No,
Is
there's the latest one. I just saw it on Instagram. So I don't know if it's the latest one, but that was the latest on my feed. It's okay not to be okay. The guy.
Oh, Kim So-yoon? I didn't know that. I'm following him on Instagram. I didn't see that. Okay. Oh my God. So it's yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
it's a local brand, but the endorsers are not local, which is ironic. If you think about it, right?
Exactly. Yes, for some reason. But because the people will like to buy because of
Opa.
The Opa. Yeah. What do you think are the top 3 reasons why Filipinos migrate?
Well, definitely for those with families, they definitely, most of my brothers actually migrated for the sake of their kids so that they can get a better degree and better life, education. And then for other reasons, of course, career for those that are aspiring, but mostly it's because just of money. And let's be honest, that's the main reason for most of us. Would you agree with that? Or do you have a different reason for your...
Yeah, before I met my husband, so I wanted to really go abroad because at that time, the money was not at the bottom of the list. When you are quite young, like 20 something, it's not really at the top of your list for me at that time. So I wanted to go out because I wanted to explore the world. Char.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, char. So it's that kind of ideal mentality because before I was just living in Cebu. So I've gone to Manila and other parts of the Philippines for vacation, but not really like living there. And I was just working in Cebu my entire life. And then I got the chance to like do a business trip like outside the Philippines because of work. And I realized what the world can offer. So that was really my turning point. So, I want to go out. But yeah, so there were a lot of things that happened along the way. But I think aside from money and opportunity, I think exploration,
Oh, it's a different kind of world. It's something that's new. Yeah.
A whole new world.
Video, okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, it is actually. For young ones, that definitely would be one of the reasons why you migrate to a different country. And for I wasn't really that old at that time. I was in my late 20s when I moved here. So I would say part of it was that fact that it's a different kind of world and you're very hopeful. When you migrate, actually, that's one thing that you have. It's the hope that life would be better once you move to a different country.
Exactly.
We all had that experience.
Yeah.
But then when you move, after a while, you suddenly realize, did I make the right decision?
Were there some stages in your life that you had that question?
I would say yes. I wasn't really that hopeful. I mean, it wasn't all happy moments. Like when I experienced my first winter. Because the winter here in where I am right now in Winnipeg, Canada, the winter here, oh my God, we go from minus 30 to minus 40.
Oh my God,
So that's every year. So
and how many months?
We're on, we have a minus degree Celsius weather for, I would say, a good 9 months, 8 to 9 months. We're covered in, well, not really covered in snow, but we have like a really cold weather. So yeah. And then for half a year, we're covered in snow. So it's actually not really something that you imagine when you watch movies, right? When you watch movies and they experience winter, snowy Christmas Day.
Magical.
Yes, right. So you think that it's going to be something so magical. When I first experienced snow, I was also one of those. It felt so magical. But then if you experience it for 6 months, for every year, it's not magical. So I guess in the first 2 years of my stay here, I definitely had that question in my mind. Did I make the right decision? Did you also have that? Because in Australia, you don't have snow. Am I right?
We don't have, thankfully. Yeah.
But you do have like cold weather, right?
Yeah. We are currently like winter, quote unquote, here in Brisbane. But winter in Brisbane is, yeah. But see, I'm in my t-shirt. Winter in Brisbane, because we are opposite. We're in the southern hemisphere. So if you're summer, I'm winter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's the North Pole and the South Pole. So yeah. So currently we are winter here. Winter in Brisbane, it's quite north of Sydney and in a different state as Sydney and Melbourne. We are actually like subtropical state, so in Queensland. So the winter is, I think, the lowest it can get here at nighttime is just maybe like 9 degrees. And lunchtime, it will be like 22, 23, 25 degrees.
Oh my God.
But we are like, it's so cold.
Oh my God, 9 degrees? The people here at 9 degrees are still wearing like short shorts and summer clothes. Because that's actually our typical summer.
Oh my God.
Well, not really typical summer, but that's like the start of our summer when we get the 1 digit, something like that. But on summer, like right now, it's plus 30 something.
It's really like very big disparity between the temperatures is very opposite. Yeah. It's too high, too cold. Here in Brisbane, this is the only city that I noticed that on winter, there are 2 types of people. People who wear coats or people who are on crop tops on winter. That's Brisbane. So like, that's how it is. So there are people who are able to withstand the cold. Let's say 10 degrees with crop tops on. And then people like me who are like already too cold for it.
Definitely, if the people from my place right now would move there, they would probably be the ones that are wearing crop tops.
And slippers, yeah.
10 degrees, that's a blessing to us. That's definitely a perfect weather. Yeah.
Yes. How was the transition? So I think I heard some stories from other friends who migrated about the winter as well. They were depressed or something for a couple of years. How was it for you?
I also went through that. The first couple of years was actually, I would say we all went through that because I remember when I moved here, there was actually a sort of like sponsored orientation for new immigrants provided by the government. So it's not something that you have to go through. It's optional. But I went through that because I had nothing to do. I had no work yet at that time. So when we were discussing about the first few years, it was actually told that it's not normal, but it's kind of expected for you to go from really hopeful and then to happy and then go to depression. So that would be the curve. And then once you go after depression, of course, that's when you fully accepted your life here. So I went through a couple of years that I was questioning things. I was lonely because all of my friends were actually in Manila because my younger years were spent there. So my friends were all there. So when I moved here, and everyone that moved here are usually with their family, right? So no one comes comes to Canada, well, at least in my area, career-wise, mostly because of their family, for their kids' sake. So most of my friends were moms. So I had trouble with that because I had no one to go out with because they're moms, right? So I kind of struggled with that. And I actually do still struggle with that for sometimes when I miss going out and just hanging around. But I would say after being here for 6 years, I would say that I kind of already got used to the life, I would say. And you kind of had a workaround, and K-drama saved me. So it literally
K-drama saves the day.
Yep. Yeah. So if I wanted to go out and there's no one to go out with, I would usually just go and watch K-drama. So that's my thing here in Canada. But would that be the same with you who, in Australia? Because I know that there's also a large community in Australia, but I don't know if it's also that large in Brisbane.
In Brisbane, actually, there are very few Filipinos. I don't know if there's a Filipino community per se, because I really don't go out much anyway. But I had like 2 stages of, not really immigration, but 2 stages or 2 countries of when I went out of the Philippines. So I went first to Dubai. I lived there for 3 years. And then immigrated to Australia. So that was like, I had like a detour in Dubai.
So it's sort of like a training ground. You were trained in Dubai, and then now you are in Australia.
That was the harshest training ever.
Why?
Life in Dubai was really hard for me because I think that was my first time going out of the Philippines and the story, and this is where the story will start. So do you have time? Like this is quite a bit long.
Sure. Sure. We have all the time.
So I went to Dubai not because of money or anything or career. So I met my ex-boyfriend, now husband, in the Philippines. Philippines, but he's not Filipino. But we kind of like worked together before, but we're in the same company. But so in the Philippines, there are a lot of offshore companies, right?
Yes.
So I worked in that company for 5 years, and I've worked with him before. I didn't know him. It's just like emails, company emails. I know him via company emails because he's my counterpart outside of the Philippines. And then after 5 years, so I resigned from that company. I didn't meet him at that time. And then I moved to a different company, which is just beside the building of that company. Of my old company. And then, so what happened was that because we worked together before, I didn't know how old he is. I actually thought he was like 50 years old or something because of the email, like too mature emails.
Very formal, very formal.
Yeah, very formal emails. But we were friends in Facebook, and his Facebook doesn't have picture at all. So like we are friends with our counterparts. I'm not sure if you have tried before, like if you worked before on offshore companies that
I did actually.
You befriend your counterparts outside Philippines as well. So so we add each other, and some of my counterparts as well. He added me before, like we were friends for 5 years in Facebook without any interaction. Then one time I was already in the different company back from that business trip that I mentioned earlier. So one time he messaged me on Facebook that, "Hey Glee, I am going to the Philippines. Do you want to meet up?" Just like, it was just like a colleague type of meet up because we kind of worked together before. So we met, and then, my God, he's so good looking.
You felt love at first sight.
Love at first, but it wasn't really. Yeah, I didn't really thought about anything, but I was so surprised that he wasn't 50 years old, or I thought that he was just like a very mature person, but he's like not really the same age as me, but a bit older than me, but not what I've expected. So it's like, oh, this was my counterpart before. Like I didn't know. So we talked, blah, blah, blah. We had lunch, and there was no romantic kind of thing at that time.
Sorry, quick question. Was it just the two of you, or did you have
so he met with me because I was already in the different company, but he also met the people in my previous company. So, but because he was there for a business trip, like a company trip.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then we met and then I was already in the different company. So, talk about plans. I even talked that I want to go to Australia, blah, blah, blah. And then after that, there wasn't any, because I know I'm not going to meet him after this. Then I mentioned about like, I want to try Dubai as well, blah, blah, blah. So, and after that, we met on another date to give him a tour of Cebu because he worked in finance before. We were both in the finance department, but now he kind of like moved in a different department and some of the people he worked with before are not there anymore. So in the end, like I had the duty to like show Cebu. I felt that
official tour guide.
Yeah, the official tour guide at that time, which was funny because in the Philippines, when you are with a foreigner, people assume that the foreigner is your boyfriend or the foreigner pays for the taxi. I don't know if that's also in Bicol or Manila. Yeah.
Oh, definitely in Manila as well. And of course, Bicol. I think it's very Filipino.
It's very Filipino, yeah.
Anywhere we go, if you are with someone, with a foreigner, and then it's a guy or the opposite sex, we always assume that they're together and the person or the foreigner is the only one with the money and paying for everything.
Exactly. And for that time, because I'm the tour guide and I'm sure it's not their custom, like paying for everything. So I paid for everything. Like I paid for the taxi, and the taxi is not a metered taxi. It's like if you're with a foreigner, like, oh, it's Pacquiao. I don't know how to, it's not a metered one, but like you pay for
is
the
it
package.
Like per day?
Yeah, like for that hour.
Tour?
Like you pay, it's not a tour, like you just hire a taxi and then instead of putting it on meter, it's like I have to haggle with the taxi driver because I said, Kuya, he's not my partner or anything. I have to pay for this, so don't give me a high rate or something.
They do that for foreigners. They do that.
Yeah, that was really a stressful tour in terms of haggling with the taxi drivers. So we just met at that time and nothing romantic. But then that was our second day of meeting, I guess. He said that like if we will be living in the same city in the future, would you want to go out with me? So I was like,
smooth. Hey, that's just the second day that you've met him.
Yeah, like the personal meeting. Yeah, but we were like work emails before. So
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
yeah. So that was the second time he saw me. So. But like your reaction is like, I don't think we're gonna meet anyway. So, like you're just smiling and stuff. So I didn't really expect that after a few months, then he got a job offer in the same company, but in Dubai. Then he told me that, do you like to move to Dubai? There are a lot of Filipinos. He noticed there are a lot of Filipinos in Dubai.
Community in Dubai is really big. I would say it's becoming the second or actually third because, of course, America and then Canada and then Dubai. There's so many Filipinos in Dubai.
Yeah, so he said like you wouldn't be homesick here. And that was also the time, as I mentioned earlier, that was after coming home from a business trip in the UK. I realized that I want to explore the world, blah, blah, blah. So that was really the time. And I also told him about when we had lunch that, I want to go to Australia. I want to go to Dubai, try it out. So it was really like falling into place at that time. So I said, okay, maybe this is an opportunity for me to go to Dubai. And my job was also quite good at that time. I had some trip in the UK. I have to do the training to my colleagues and stuff. But after a few months, I have to resign because of love. So, but it's not really love at that time. Like, it's like, okay, I'll try it out. There's also like a potential love life. But when I went
it's
to
a
Dubai,
bonus thing.
Yeah.
So it's
like
more of career and then a start of a new beginning. And then bonus is the love.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't tell my parents the reason why I went to Dubai.
The truth, they say, is out there. Trouble is, the truth sometimes can be bland and uninteresting. Subscribe to Dark Theory. Dark Theory is a self-produced Filipino podcast that takes you down a rabbit hole of mystery, conspiracy, and dark, twisted tales that blur the boundaries of what you know to be real. Subscribe to a little darkness. Listen to Dark Theory, available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Anchor. we make the truth a tad bit more delightful, all with a pinch of darkness. This is Dark Theory.
So I just
What
want to
did
go
you tell
abroad.
them?
I told them that I want to go abroad, and there was kind of a not good relationship at that time with my parents, because prior to meeting my husband, I had a boyfriend who was really good relationships with my parents, but he cheated on me. So even though he cheated on me, the parents still like him. I don't know, for some reason.
I see.
I don't know if you had heard stories about that, but that was really awful. So I kind of felt bad again towards my parents, because they still favored that guy. So it's like, okay, I want to go out of this house, go abroad. So that was really like the pivotal moment. So then I went out of the Philippines. So that was when I arrived in Dubai and stuff. Like, you will be happy. Same with what you said. Like, I was happy and then excited and then going down to depression. So I was really like depressed like most of my time there. Yeah. So even though there was Filipino community in Dubai, it's not really the same.
It's not.
Yeah. It's quite not the same kind of people that I hang out with as well. I feel there are a lot of people. It's a mix of people who, I don't know if you have heard about some stories about this, but there are people who are quite nosy as well, right? So they always who is your boyfriend? And I do not want that kind of talk. I couldn't really. So that was like very, very depressed for the 2 years stay there. And then that's why we hastened the process of immigrating to Australia. So, but here I wasn't really, depressed, but I can also relate. Like, I don't have people to go out with, especially because we immigrated when we are older. We don't have friends here.
Right. That's true. I guess that's something that's very common as well for us, at least for those without family, established family with kids and all that. You kind of look for your own crowd.
Exactly.
How about your careers? Like, you moved to Dubai for both of your careers because he had a job opportunity. Did you also move to Australia with already a career opportunity, or did you start from scratch?
Start from scratch.
For both of you?
So, yeah, for both of us.
Oh.
I don't know there in Canada, but here in Australia, although they are very diverse as well, they still prefer Australian experience, even though you have like heaps of experience abroad. I don't know in Canada, what's your experience?
I guess there are jobs that require you to have experience here first. I think that's one thing that has already been raised for so many years now, because one of the qualifications for you to be approved for immigration here in Canada is that you have this certain experience or job. Like for nurses, you have this nursing experience. I'm not a nurse, sorry. I don't know the exact terms, but you have to be of this level of experience. But when you come here, they don't see that. They don't accept you immediately. So you have to study again, work again to have experience to be able to actually get the job that you wanted. So that's one thing that we have always been asking the government. Well, not me particularly, but the Nursing Association. It was in the news. They were asking why they had to go through the process of learning again and studying again and starting from scratch when that was one of their qualifications. That's why they were approved here. It is also a diverse country. I mean, I definitely would say that Canada is really one of those countries that would be good for immigrants, because we have like a diverse community. In my job alone, we have so many nationalities, different ethnicities. So, but for big jobs like those with, professional jobs, you really have to go through the process again of studying. And studying doesn't really cost for free. You have to expensive student loans and number of years. I don't really know how many years for nurses, but I do know for teachers, there's like 2 years, at least 2 years for this particular subject. So my
even
cousin
though
had to
they
go through that.
migrated there, they have to still study. Oh,
Yes, you have to have a certified education something here. Because my cousin was actually a teacher in secondary in the Philippines. And that was one of her qualifications for immigrations here. So when she moved, she wasn't able to get any position, even a temporary position as a teacher, as her previous job. She had to study again and had to go through being a temporary or substitute teacher until she gets approved for a permanent one. And actually, even that, the permanent position for those that in the actual town or for the city were not given to those that did not have the full 4-year course of education and background. They were only offered positions outside the city. It's very hard. I know. I know. Is it the same as with Australia?
For us, I think maybe for the nurses, but I know someone who's a nurse, but she studied here first, the bachelor's, but she grew up in the Philippines, and then for university, she moved here to study. So I don't know anyone, but I think it might still be the same, like doing that 2-year course. For us, we are finance. They always require CPA. So I am CPA in the Philippines, but because it's Philippines, they don't really acknowledge it. I also have a different qualification or US certification, but they don't accept that.
They
it's
don't
not recognized. So they only recognize Australian and UK certifications because but that
is
time
it UK because Australia is also somehow
like
with the
part
UK?
of like UK, something like that.
I see.
So our queen is the queen. So
Same, Canada.
Yeah. But still, that because at that time when I took the US certification, we thought we would be going to Canada or Australia. So we had that 2 options. But after visiting Australia for vacation, when we were still in Dubai, we liked Australia. So we told ourselves, let's just not go to Canada. Let's just process Australian papers. So now I'm also studying their CPA, which is, but I still got a job, which was good. Maybe it's different in each profession. Maybe nurses, I don't know why it's like that. But for us, finance, maybe it still depends on the companies because the actual advertisements actually really say preferred CPA, blah, blah, blah. But I still apply. And then got lucky with the interviews and then the company as well. My current company, people are very diverse and they like it that way. So I still got like a normal accountant job, even though I don't have the CPA here, but I'm working towards it. At first, it was very hard for us. And with regards to the nurses that are offered outside the city, I think it was their visa. Do you know, like, is there a specific visa for them to just be on the job or outside the city? I'm regional?
Not so sure. Most of the people that I know were actually part of the family and friends program. So it's more of a province because I was part of that. I'm not sure about the nurses because we had that training, right? So that the intro to immigration, something like that for new immigrants. So most of the people that I was with were nurses. So, but they were also part of the program that I was included. So it's more of the family and friends thing. So I'm not sure if they have a different one, but I think now they are more focused on work related. So it's very specific to the jobs that are required in the province because in Manitoba right now where I am, they don't really need that much people anymore. So they're getting more strict, I guess, with the qualifications. And I don't know if the family and friend type of immigration program is available. I don't think so because it's been years. So
family and friends. So before you can sponsor your friend?
Yes, actually a friend.
Really?
Yes, that is true. Actually, a friend of a friend was sponsored here. Well, my brother's friend had a son and the son was sponsored here. I guess it was presented as he was friends with the son as well. So, because the son was like, because my brother's friend older. So the son was like roughly a bit older than me. So somehow closer to my brother's age or something like that. So actually one of the good immigration programs before, there was a lot of people moving to this province because it's somehow like the opening was here in the province. But now that we have so many people moving in, they're getting stricter. And now the opening is actually, I think, in Nova Scotia, another province here. So that's where, if you are interested to move to Canada, you might want to check out Nova Scotia's province, because that's where you can, well, I wouldn't say easily, but I guess that's where you can get an opportunity to move.
And so coming from Manila, did you have some experiences like, oh, there's no nightlife here?
Yeah.
Or...
that added to the depression, because that was actually my life before. When you're young, you experience nightlife, you experience hanging out, and malls would be like so crazy. They have everything that you wanted. Malls here usually are just one floor, and then the biggest mall that we have is only 2 floors. And it's actually, there are big brands, but there are bigger brands in the Philippines, I would say. Definitely the malls are better. When actually, after moving here and when I went back to the Philippines for vacation, I really wanted to check out the malls. I want to experience the life before, because this is really province. It's a province life. It's way provincer. If that even isn't a word, it's way more provincial than what I used to be in the Philippines or even in Bicol. It's total different. So it's one thing.
I can totally relate on that.
Is it the same as with Brisbane? Wait, what's the capital of Australia again?
The capital of Australia, Canberra. It's Canberra, but no one really lives there. I mean, some people live there, but it's
Sydney.
Not common. It's not Sydney. I thought as well before, but it's Canberra.
Oh, good thing I asked.
Yeah, so Sydney is the most popular, Sydney and Melbourne, but yeah, they are not the capital cities, because most of the government offices as well is in Canberra. But so there are 7 states here in Australia. So for example, Sydney is a city in New South Wales state. So it's a capital city of New South Wales. Then the capital city of Victoria state is Melbourne. And then the capital city of Queensland state is Brisbane. So, but if you compare,
so we're the same.
Yeah.
In a way, so we're the same.
Brisbane is even though it's a capital city in Queensland, it's a small city, I would say. It's a small city, but it's still good. But the thing with me as well was, because I lived in Dubai, the luxurious Dubai, for 3 years, I was like exposed to Dubai Mall. The malls there are just so luxurious, like shop till you drop kind of thing.
Is it expensive in Dubai?
I would say that Dubai, it's not that expensive in a way, because before 2018, they don't have VAT before in Dubai. But in 2018, they introduced VAT, but it's just 5%. Philippines is 12%.
5%?
Yeah, and you don't have income tax in Dubai as well.
Can I move
So you
there?
get your gross pay and everything. Also, insurance in Dubai is covered by your employer.
Same here.
You don't have to pay for it. And also the visa is covered by employer. So the only downside in Dubai is that you are like a permanent resident as long as you have work. But if you're out of work, you have like 30 days to find work. Otherwise, you need to leave the city or the country. So that was the downside there. But it's really luxurious. You would say that it kind of depends as well. But in general, Dubai is a very luxurious city. I want to visit it, but I don't want to live there, I think, because it's very stressful in terms of work, actually, especially in finance.
Work?
Yeah, work, because most people are not permanent. They live there for work, right? So it's very competitive. The people are very competitive with each other, and to the point that you have to always watch your back, like, so that you won't get
really healthy.
So, and then also, you have to work longer hours. I mean, I don't know for others, but in finance, because we are like office, so it's not really per hour. And the culture there is quite different as well. So, but aside from the work, it's a very nice city, especially if you live in the international side of it. So there is like an old Dubai and new Dubai. And then we lived in the new Dubai area. So it's so nice. And then coming from Dubai to here as well, we were so surprised that the malls close at 5 p.m. I don't know about you.
7. We're just ahead of 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
7.
Yeah, so malls close at 5. And one time when we first arrived here, or I think it was a vacation vacation. I forgot because we went here first for vacation 2017. We went to a different city in Queensland called Sunshine Coast. The malls, they kind of like, they have like a siesta, or I don't know, because they close at 3. So it's like we were very hungry. We cannot even eat McDonald's because it's closed at 3 p.m.
And how long? Like an hour?
Yeah, like an hour. They have like a break, 2 to 3 or something was their time
Break
off.
time.
Break time, and then they get back at 4 and then close at 5 or something. And some shops even just close at 3.
Wait, is that also only for Brisbane, or is it the same case with Sydney? Because Sydney is more the popular city, right? Would that be the same?
Their malls also is just the same. The one I mentioned is Sunshine Coast, so it's not the capital city, but somewhere in Queensland as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a beachy kind of vibe city because it's near the coast. Brisbane is more inner city. So, but yeah, it's like, what? How can we shop, right? When we're still working.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
so how people do it is like they just shop on like lunchtime.
Online.
Or
Oh.
online. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like that. So that was
that's
really also
bad.
like, and the malls in the city are also like same as what you mentioned, like 1 floor or 2 floors, or even like in an old building that was refurbished to be a mall.
Or strip malls. A strip mall is like, it's just a row of stores.
Yeah.
So
like
it's
that.
not like one of those big ones where you have like all the stores in just one building. This one is like, most of the stores that we have here are in the line. So for example, you have Oshkosh or all the other, and they would be outside. They would have their own doors and all that. It's called a strip mall,
same.
and that's a common thing.
Same.
So it's the same. It is. As Filipinos, I think this is one of the issues that we have. Because we come from a country where the mall is like our heaven. It's open almost 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of my struggles, actually. I'm not used to online. Are you? Because in the Philippines, we don't have online, right? Before the pandemic, everything was, you have to go to the mall, you have to go to a specific store. Here, it was like they go with the online thing. They have Amazon. They have so many things online. So I guess that's one reason why they don't really care if the mall would close at this time. But yours is actually way worse. 5 p.m.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so frustrating. Yes,
Even on weekends.
Yeah, even on weekends. So yesterday I wanted to buy something, and then I said, okay, I'm just gonna buy today because it's already closed. So yeah, that's really the struggle as well. And with online, I learned doing online in Dubai, even though it's because Dubai was really like, you have online, you have everything, you have the shops, you have everything. And Dubai, even if it's Ramadan
consumerism.
time, yeah, actually when I was in Dubai, like I was shopping a lot, blah blah blah, and I didn't have like family responsibilities at that time back in the Philippines. It was really shop till you drop and everything. But at some point I said to myself, oh, I want to move to Australia because at least my shopping habits will be lesser or will
less
be
temptations.
yeah, less temptations, exactly, because their Victoria's Secret there is quite cheap as well in Dubai. So it was really good that the sales are like so good.
And the malls, I heard that the malls are so huge in Dubai, and I think also in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Right?
But Dubai, I'd say, is the best. I mean, there was a big mall. Yeah, there was a big
shopping
mall
heaven.
in UK. But Dubai mall is really like, a shopping heaven. And I don't know, like for some reason you can afford branded things there. For some reason it's expensive, but you can still afford it if you have like a decent job in Dubai. But here it's like, even though I have a decent job, like I still can't afford the expensive ones.
True.
Because the rent here is also high and stuff. So.
Same. This is actually something that most of us in the Philippines don't know about. It's that when you move to a different country, yes, the salary compared to the Philippines is higher, but the expenses here are so high. Rent here is almost cost of one salary. I have a decent job. I have, well, not really a huge, but it's more than the basic pay. But I still cannot afford like expensive things because half of my salary is just for the rent.
Yeah, it's the same. Hey Zestie, stay tuned next week for another set of funny moments and anecdotes with Marian of Tita Talks. Please note that these are our personal experiences and may or may not reflect the overall situation. So peace out and good vibes. Any feedback or episode suggestions are truly appreciated. Please send us an email at gleefultalkshow@gmail.com. If you're a Korean drama fanatic like me, please follow Tita Talks wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also find Marian on Instagram. That's @TalksTita. Find out more next week. So, what funny story when you first arrived in Canada?
I don't know if I would say this as funny or humiliating, but